Hundreds of millions of years ago, survival was a privilege earned through bloodshed, a constant struggle against horrors beyond our modern comprehension. And the Earth has bore witness to countless nightmares, but few are as unsettling as the one revealed by this fossil. Discovered in the desolate Badlands of Montana, this is Lokiceratops. And those horns, those weren't just for show. These were blades designed for one purpose: to inflict unimaginable pain, to turn herbivore into hunter, to rule through a legacy of violence. Picture this: the sun beats down on the arid plains of Montana, baking the earth until it cracks. The air is thick with the scent of dust and sagebrush, a silence broken only by the wind whistling through canyons carved by millennia. It's a landscape seemingly untouched by time, a window into a world long vanished. And it's here, in this harsh and unforgiving wilderness, that paleontologists unearthed a discovery that would rewrite our understanding of dinosaur evolution. They were excavating a site already known for its fossil riches, a graveyard of giants from the late Cretaceous period. But this find was very different. Scattered among the usual bones were fragments of a skull, unlike anything they'd seen before. Shattered into pieces, like it had been subjected to some unimaginable force, lay the remains of a creature both magnificent and terrifying. The skull, when painstakingly reassembled, revealed a creature that defied expectations. It was a ceratopsian, one of the horned dinosaurs made famous by Triceratops. But its horns, these were weapons of a different order. Long, curved, and impossibly sharp, they jutted from the frill like blades forged in a prehistoric hellfire. This wasn't a creature built for gentle grazing. This was a dinosaur designed to dominate through sheer, unadulterated violence. They named it Lokiceratops after the Norse trickster god, a being of chaos and cunning. And the name couldn't have been more fitting, because Lokiceratops was a living contradiction, a paradox in bone and horn. It was a herbivore, yes, but one armed with the tools of a predator, a gentle giant forced by the brutality of its environment to embrace a legacy of bloodshed. Like its namesake, Lokiceratops was a master of deception. Its horns, unlike those of its heavily armored cousins, weren't about brute force. They were honed for precision, for surgical strikes. They weren't blunt battering rams meant to smash through bone. They were scalpels of bone and keratin, capable of inflicting agonizing wounds with every sweep of the head. And that missing nose horn, a feature so common to other ceratopsians, perhaps it was a necessary sacrifice, an evolutionary trade-off for the deadly grace these blades possessed. We often picture herbivores as gentle giants, content to graze peacefully on leaves and ferns. But Lokiceratops throws that image out of the window. This wasn't some docile plant eater. This was a walking weapon, a testament to the brutal reality of dinosaur evolution. And nowhere is that brutality more evident than in its horns. Forget the delicate curves of Triceratops, forget the nasal horn of Styracosaurus. Lokiceratops was armed with a different kind of warfare. Imagine a bulldozer, its blade replaced with a pair of wickedly curved, razor-sharp horns. That's the kind of force we're talking about here, a creature capable of inflicting devastating damage with a single swing of its head. These horns weren't just for defense, they were instruments of aggression, tools honed for both combat and dominance. Lokiceratops lived in a world where survival depended on sending a clear message: don't mess with me. And its horns were the ultimate statement of power and brutality. Let's take a closer look at these weapons of prehistoric carnage. Each horn was a marvel of evolutionary engineering, a perfect blend of form and function designed for maximum damage. The curve, for starters, was crucial. It wasn't just about aesthetics, it was about maximizing the slashing surface area. A single swing of the head could open up a gaping wound, tearing through flesh and muscle with ease. And the serrations along those edges, those weren't there for show. They were like tiny teeth, adding to the tearing power, ensuring that every impact left a lasting impression. And then there are the tips, sharp, pointed, almost hooked in their design. They weren't just meant to pierce, they were meant to grip, to hook into flesh and bone, to tear and rend. Imagine the force of a Lokiceratops' charge, those horns slamming into a rival, tearing through scales and hide, ripping open flesh and shattering bone. This wasn't a fight for survival. This was a fight for dominance, a display of brute force designed to leave no doubt about who ruled this prehistoric kingdom. But what about that missing nose horn, a feature so common to other ceratopsians, yet absent in Lokiceratops? Some paleontologists believe this was a trade-off, a necessary sacrifice for the deadly precision of its frill horns. Without that heavy nasal horn, Lokiceratops could move its head more quickly, strike with greater agility, and inflict targeted surgical wounds. It traded brute force for a kind of predatory grace, a chilling evolution that turned a herbivore into a master of calculated carnage. Now, let's transport ourselves back 66 million years to the heart of late Cretaceous Larmidia, a lost world where North America was split in two by a vast inland sea, a land of lush forests, sprawling floodplains, and towering mountains. But paradise this was not. Larmidia was a battleground, a crucible of evolution where only the strongest, the fiercest, and the most brutally equipped could hope to survive. Lokiceratops shared this unforgiving environment with a ton of other monsters. Tyrannosaurus Rex, the apex predator of its time, stalked these lands, its bone-crushing jaws and serrated teeth capable of bringing down even the largest herbivores. Stegosaurus, a feathered ptera with sickle-shaped claws, preying on anything it could catch. And Pterodactyl, a smaller but no less deadly tyrannosaur, added to the chorus of carnage that echoed across this prehistoric kingdom. But Lokiceratops wasn't alone. It was one of the 5 ceratopsian species that called Larmidia home, each vying for resources, territory, and the right to mate. Imagine the pressure cooker of this ecosystem, a constant struggle for dominance where even your own kind was a potential rival. Every encounter was a test of strength, a gamble with life and limb, and Lokiceratops, with its lethal weaponry, was a force to be reckoned with. The fossil record bears witness to this relentless struggle. Ceratopsian skulls are often found with scars, punctures, and healed fractures, proof to the brutal battles these creatures endured. Horns locked, bodies slammed together, the air thick with the scent of blood and the bellows of enraged rivals. This wasn't a game, this was life or death, and Lokiceratops, with its surgically precise horns, was a master of this deadly dance. But violence wasn't just about survival, it was woven into the very fabric of Lokiceratops' social society. Dominance displays, battles for mating rights, these were rituals as old as time itself, and in a world where size and weaponry mattered, Lokiceratops was king. Imagine the clashes, the bone-shattering impacts as rivals locked horns, each striving to prove their superiority. The victor, scarred but triumphant, would earn the right to mate, passing on its genes, ensuring that the legacy of violence continued. The violence that defined Lokiceratops' world wasn't just about immediate survival. It was about something deeper, something ingrained in the very essence of its being. Across the animal kingdom, from the smallest insects to the largest mammals, we see ritualized combat, displays of dominance that determine hierarchy and access to mates. And for Lokiceratops, those horns weren't just weapons. They were symbols of power, badges of honor, earned through bloodshed. Think about the scars we can see on modern animal combatants, the torn ears of lions, the ripped flanks of wolves, the claw marks etched into a bear's hide. These are the marks of a life lived on the edge, a constant struggle for supremacy. And Lokiceratops, with its massive frill and those wickedly curved horns, would have bore its own scars, a testament to a lifetime of battles fought and won. Imagine the scene, 2 Lokiceratops males, both in their prime, driven by instinct and testosterone. They circle each other, horns lowered, eyes locked in a silent challenge. The air crackles with tension. The ground trembles beneath their massive weight. And then they clash. Horns meet with a bone-jarring impact, a shockwave that ripples through their bodies. They push, they strain, each testing the other's strength, their bellowing roars echoing across the prehistoric plains. This is a battle for dominance, for the right to mate, to pass on their genes, to ensure that their lineage continues. And it's a battle Lokiceratops was built to win. Those horns, so perfectly designed for inflicting pain, would have been used with brutal efficiency, slashing, stabbing, hooking, until one male yields, defeated and bloodied, leaving the victor to claim his prize. But even Lokiceratops' reign of terror couldn't last forever. 66 million years ago, a cataclysmic event brought the age of dinosaurs to a close. An asteroid, 6 miles wide, slammed into the Earth, unleashing a wave of destruction that reshaped the planet. Wildfires raged, tsunamis swept across continents, and the skies darkened with dust and ash, blocking out the sun. In the face of this cosmic apocalypse, even Lokiceratops, with its weapons of bone and horn, stood no chance. Its reign of terror, forged in the crucible of evolution, was extinguished in an instant. The forests it roamed turned to ash, and the world it knew was swallowed by darkness and death. The legacy of violence that had defined its existence for millions of years was brought to an abrupt and merciless end. But Lokiceratops isn't the only monster that haunted the prehistoric world. There are others, creatures even more terrifying, with weapons even more grotesque. Want to meet the dinosaur that was scarier than T-Rex? The predator with teeth like a shark? Then like and subscribe, and click the video on screen now to uncover its secrets.